Hi, Vinay.
Hi, hi.
Hi, Vinay.
Hello, Vimal. How are you?
Good. How about you?
Yes. I think like Ankit, you should on your camera and also Ashwini. So let me start meanwhile then. Hello guys, welcome to day 2 of South India Business Week, session number 2, which we are concentrating on interior designers and architects, creative space actually. So the topic of this session will be beyond aesthetics, the revolution and impact of interior design in modern living. And the panel members we have here is the founder of Design Walls, and we have Rachana K from Ensemble, and also we have Ashwini Shwetha, the founder of Ask Space Design Studio, and we have Manasa Vinay, the principal architect in Bryck Red Design Studio, and also we have Ankit Jain, who is director of ANG Interior Hub. Hello, guys.
Hi.
Sorry for joining late. It was something.
That's okay.
Hello.
I think like Ankit also should join. 1 second, give me a. So let me start the session now with Vimal. So Vimal, how was the interior design involved beyond aesthetics to address functionality, sustainability, and user experience in modern living spaces? How does Design Walls contribute to this evolution?
Yeah, hi, Vinay.
Hello, yeah.
So you're making me to speak first. I guess there are so many experienced people out there.
We'll come one by one.
And basically, COVID have changed everything. Like coming to my experience in this industry, post-COVID, there's so many changes which has happened over here. Like because of the time which we have spent in the 4 rooms, 4 walls. So it made everyone think about the space, how they are utilizing, and the functionality have become a major. It has taken the first step basically. So coming to the interior designing, earlier it used to be a different structure altogether, but later on people started focusing on each and every corner of the house, every minute space, every detailing they were focusing on. So coming to an interior designer, now it have become a mandatory for us to utilize each and every corner of the house or a room. Coming to the design walls, I mean, yes, post COVID, and we started working on the client budget. Yes, we'll definitely take client budget in the consideration. After that, then we start figuring out their interests and also the community where they are living, and also the future after 10 years, how they want to see themselves. So all these aspects we are taking into the consideration, and then we are designing it.
Okay, yes. So, Rachana, the next question will be yours. As a design firm specializing in interior design, how does Assemble approach the integration of aesthetics and functionality in its projects?
Aesthetics is what I say. It's something we appreciate. It's not everyone needs to be appreciated it for. So I mean, it should be pleasing to the eyes, and it should be appreciated for. So when I speak of aesthetics, there basically we follow. There is a theory where it says there are 3 basic principles in aesthetics. We have to cater to either of them. One would be imitationism. One would be formalism. The other one would be emotionalism. So what is imitation? It's a feeling. It's a feeling behind it when we design something for the interiors. For example, I had a client, I would take a small example actually. I had a client who had a lot of souvenirs. This was a very small thing which I started off in my career. He wanted a TV unit where he wanted, along with the TV, to display his souvenirs. and he had a great collection. And for me, catering to that feeling was more important rather than my giving more of aesthetics. So I took 15 days to design a small a 15 by 10 TV unit for him, with each and every dimensions given to cater his special souvenirs, and how do we maintain it, how it is to be covered. So we actually changed the technology where we started creating huge drawers to pull out drawers so that they can easily clean and push it back and all. So once it was catered and things were done, the whole element came as a good aesthetic feature for us. It was like a combination of his feeling, his souvenir, along with our design. So the next one would be what we say is next is formalism. Like we had another project. I'm taking example because this is easier for me to explain, because formalism is the more of the moods that we need to create in an interior. We had an industrial project where everyone thinks, okay, it's a warehouse, a shed kind of a building, but no, the client wanted a more comfortable and a space or an interacting space for his team. So we had to build in more of those discussion tables, more of greeneries inside, and where they used to come out regularly for discussion rather than working there. It was a very different atmosphere. So catering that, again, it created its own aesthetics. And the next one is emotionalism, where I say the emotions, what we do behind it. Emotions, definitely another project. Again, I would like to say is we had to do a museum. And while designing a museum, it was a more museum for a lady who had worked hard on sustainability. I would like also to take the name of Salmada Timbaka. We have designed a museum for her. And she's an old lady. She has throughout her years tried to, keep the trees along, and she's grown so many trees. Now, if I tell her that I will cut the trees and bring her all the wood specimens inside the museum, the feeling, it looks great for a museum, but for her feeling, we should understand the emotions behind that. So when I start catering onto this aesthetics, these functionalities, automatically my aesthetic will be upheld with that. Finally, what we need to give is for the
I see
clients, right?
a lot of passion is very involved in this interior space, where people come basically if at all it's a other category, they just make the payment and just leave. But when it comes to the interior, they keep their heart. I observe, as like I personally do that also. So the next question for Manasa. Manasa, how does Bryck Design Studio leverage design thinking and user-centric principles to create spaces that both are aesthetic, pleasing, and functional?
First of all, at Bryck Design Studio, so we consider the users, that is clients, as the main core. So we work and we make sure that they are involved in all the design stages, and we try to ask a lot of questions to them. So we do a lot of surveys to find out what exactly our client needs, and this 4 stages is what we follow. So one is research, other one is requirement, design, and the 4th one is evaluation. In the research, we try to find out what exactly the client needs. In the requirement stage, so we try to find out what the problems are based on their requirements. And in the design stage, we try to find out the solutions. And in the 4th stage, that is the evaluation, we try to incorporate, so we try to do the testing, so with considering all the requirements and all. And we try to ask them a lot of questions, as in the colors they like, the concept they like. So minimalism is something like which is in trend now, so it might not be like it's a personal choice. So this is something which we find out from the clients, so that it's easy for us to work on the specific concept. So if it is minimalism which they like, so then we tend to go with neutral palette, where we use warm colors like whites, grays, creams, and all that. And if it is maximalism, so we try to use bold colors, where people like a lot of textures and the bold colors like red, orange, all those things. And we try to understand the client, and we work on space optimization, so where we do a lot of layouts, zoning, so that it's easy for us to tell the client that the functionality works that way. And so this is something which we follow from Bryck. And it's not only ceilings or floorings and all those things. So each and everything, like we make sure that it is functional. Now if you see, smart home is something which people actually want. That is one of the requirements people are asking, and so we try to incorporate by collaborating with automation people. So where design also is considered, their functionality is also considered, and we try to incorporate those things and give something which the client would feel like happy, and it's more functional as well as aesthetically appealing. And we try to use a lot of materials like this sandwich glasses, sustainable and eco-friendly materials, so it gives a very good look. And even the function wise also, this, like if you see, this bamboo is something which is in trend. So we not only in the houses, we use even in commercial projects as well. So, and we try to bring in natural elements so that that there's a lot of impact on aesthetics.
Yes.
So these are some things like which we do like at Bryck Design Studio.
Good to know. So, and the next question for Ashwini. Ashwini, Shwetha, what is the inspired of founding the Art Space Studio, and what is the unique design philosophy or approach sets it apart from other interior designers?
Thank you for the question. So, first thing I'd like to say is that, a lot of people out there who want to get designing done for their own residences or any other places, they think designing is something which is going to make their space suddenly very fancy and, very colorful and bright and all of that. So, that's a myth which has to be broken today. That designing is not something where we're making the space looking fancy or all colorful and bright, flashy. Designing a space is more of creating an environment which is more comfortable for a person, more livable for a person, and more creating that particular environment for which suffices for that particular need and function of that particular space. And so for example, creating a classroom, for example, designing a classroom so that the kids, students are more efficient while studying the subject rather than having. So usually we always have these benches where they're arranged in rows and columns, and whenever the students are sitting in that particular area, they always have this mental hierarchy. There's a difference between front benches and the last benches. There's always a mental difference, right? So that is something we are trying to avoid. So that's one particular example. We are trying to, arrange the seating arrangements in a different way where each student is getting equal importance while studying. And so if I take another example of workplace, for example, designing an office space in a way where it is more efficient rather than creating those corporate cubicles where people are hardly getting any natural lighting or maybe natural elements around, and still are like made to sit in some kind of factory setup where they're enforcing them to bring out like efficient results. But that's not going to happen. It's just going to make them even more stressed out, and at the end they'll constantly keep having a feeling that, oh, I just want to go home now. I'm done. I'm tired today. And while coming to the office, they'll be like, oh, coming to office all over again. So that mood of interest, that mood of enjoyment, that involvement will not be achieved in designing such kind of spaces. So my unique approach here is I go deep down into the basics of the psychological part of designing the space. I just don't see the space as with the materials and finishes alone. I look at it as a much more holistic approach towards creating spaces. I have recently spoken about this in detail in my recent TEDx speech, where I have spoken about like how my design approach is a little bit different from the superficial, the making it looking fancy and colorful. I work more on creating design experiences, and so design experience itself is considered. I mean, like it consists of studying the environment with your sensory systems. So this is more of a psychological part, which I have done an in-depth research in Germany, so that's how my approach towards designing becomes a little different in that way. And yeah, so sensory systems which we usually have is the five sensory system: touch, taste, smell, visual system, and your feel, your thermal thing. So these sensory systems define how you're experiencing the space. So, for example, there are people who feel claustrophobic in particular spaces because the space around is getting narrower. Sometimes people get scared in darker spaces because the, there is no light enough. So that's going to make them behave in particular way. And sometimes there are people who have, like, for example, ADHD or something like that. So their particular environment, their surroundings, there's a disturbance.
Yeah. Yeah, you can continue.
So people with some stress-related stuff, or maybe their um,
Hello. It's a problem with Ankit, I think so.
mhm. Oops.
Yeah, you can continue.
Yeah, so their residences have to be designed in a different aspect so that they start feeling comfortable, they start feeling better. Their psychological environment is aimed to make them a better person at the end of it. So yeah, that's about it.
Yes, yes. So again, we can move to Vimal again. So like, Vimal, can you share me some examples of innovative design solutions or projects taken by design walls that prioritize both form and function?
Yeah. Here I would like to share one project which we have done in Secunderabad. This is a 60 years old property, and this particular client have moved to US, and he's staying there since 20 years. The second generation, second or the third generation. So client want to come back, and he want to have the same feel which he had when he was in his childhood. So this is something very challenging, and this client is very particular about the project. Uh, he don't want to move a single nail. Just imagine that he don't want to remove a single nail in that particular house. Whatever is there, he want to keep everything as it is, but still he want to renovate it. So this is super challenging because client have I mean we have submitted each and every photo of that particular property when we have handed over it. So how we have done is like, coming to the landscape, we didn't change any landscape, and we have collected his previous childhood photos which were around that particular house, and the trees which were there. So we bought the similar, most probably the same trees, same in the sense like the same height also were maintained on the same note. And coming earlier, I mean there were no cars, like, I mean, he don't have any vehicles. Now he got around like three cars, which in case we are parking those cars in that particular area, the entire look and feel is not as per the previous note. So what we have designed, I mean, what we have come up is like, we had an underground parking where we used the elevators to go down and then park underground, so that we didn't change any view of that particular property. And coming to the in-house, there were wallpapers around. Like, we have redesigned each and every wallpaper, and then we have tested with different textures of the papers, and then we came up with that particular papers. And similar way, the flooring also, we have to customize the flooring. So it is pretty challenging and also quite interesting for us. And we didn't move. I mean, the earlier trees which were there, we kept the same, and the height we maintained the same, and the color of that particular building we have maintained the same. In each furniture which were there around, and we made sure that we have used the same furniture with the same textures and recreated the space. It's a kind of recreating the same old memories. So this is quite challenging and quite interesting, and the project is still going on.
Okay. Hope that you will get a good compliment from your client at the end of the project.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll go to Rachana next. Like Rachana, can you provide some insights into the process of collaborating with clients to understand their needs and preferences and translating them into a design concepts?
Um, Whenever actually when we have a client in our if there's an inquiry or something, the first thing we do is we visit the place. So unless you get the feel of the space, we won't be able to design. So once we visit him, probably we have them clients come over there and we have an initial discussion. Now, after this initial discussion, where we understand their requirement is what we're looking at the initial discussion. We definitely can't design a complete thing for them on the first discussion. So we need to understand them, their taste, or the kind of the culture they follow, the tradition they follow, which is most important in any design. So what we do is, after the discussion is done, we simply come and design. It's very strange, I feel, for some probably might feel, but we simply come and design to the requirements they give. And once it is done, this is helpful in both for us and for the clients. We have a proper discussion. We call them to our office. We have a presentation done, and this concept would give us a clarity, like what changes could be done, what spaces can we get. Now, if he says, for example, I can take a residence, which is easier to understand for everyone. If I take a residence, we know, okay, I have a room of this space. I can accommodate this size room in one floor. So these things, these basic clarity for us also is very important before I discuss with the client. Now, the client also knows, okay, they have designed something. So maybe they would get a different mindset and saying, okay, what I require, I know. Because most of our clients, sometimes they just know I need a house. They might not know what exactly they need, because the tradition has been changing. Like for a house, again, I would take an example. When I was in school, there used to be something called a special formal living space. I mean, those trends are gone now. Then it started like having home theaters, which is again fading away now. Now it's more of an interaction space is what we need. And we, thanks to COVID, we have work from home where we need a proper working space also to be included in a house. So things keep on changing. So what exactly they are looking at, we understand only once we give them and we ourselves understand the space properly. So this is what we do normally to understand. So we try to figure out the things, and so by the third discussion, we are through with our concepts, because we know by the second thing what exactly they need, what style they need. And we believe in Ensemble, we don't design for ourselves, we give what client wants. Even the style, it can be an ancient style, it can be a contemporary style, it can be a art, all the Bawa styles or whatever styles we have learned in our college days. So it's what for client we need for. So this is a process we normally follow in Ensemble, and it's helped us a lot through our journey in this more than a decade now.
So the next question for Manasa. Manasa, can you share some insights into the role of technology and digital tools in streamlining the design process and enhancing the collaboration with clients and stakeholders?
See, technology is something like, which is helping all the designers. So it is making our works easier. It is making us work quickly as well as effectively. So this is something like at Bryck Design Studio. See, we use a lot of designer tools. So as in the softwares like AutoCAD, 3ds Max. So we use this presentation, this thing. So the AutoCAD, it helps us to do this 2D drawings, and it helps us to come up with the layouts and the electrical drawings and all this. It's easy for us to explain the clients what exactly that they'll be getting. And these 3D drawings, so it helps us to explain them. So the modeling and the functionality and all those things, it helps us. And so this is something, technology is something which is very important, I feel, so that we can take higher level risks and higher level design tasks. And see, there are so many other tools like VR. So there is AI. So I mean, virtual reality is something which is in trend now. So where the clients are engaged because of those tools, and they'll get a proper 3D this thing, realistic whatever feel, so which is very important. And AI, so again, artificial intelligence, it is one of the important aspect where the client, so he can engage in that. And see that because of the technology, we use a lot of power this thing managing tools, as well as we can make our task easier. So we can assign the tasks also for the people easily, and we can have a check what is happening in the site. So that is also one of the important thing where technology, we are making use of it. And so these are one of the main things, like, which we do it at Bryck Design Studio. And there's a few more tools, like, interactive tools like Zoom and WhatsApp. So sometimes in this busy life, right, so maybe like we'll not get the times to because of the traffic, the Bangalore traffic, you guys know. So so we might not have time to meet the clients and interact with them. So the because of the Zoom and WhatsApp, so it is making our works easier. So we just call a client, we do a video call, we show, like, what is coming in the site, so what is that they're getting, and all those things. And 3D modeling is one more thing. So we use 3ds Max, where the client will get an idea before execution, right? So they know what exactly they'll be getting. The zoning and the functionality also is, like, taken care because of all these tools. So I can say, because of the technology, right, it is actually making our designer works easier. So we can take higher level this thing tasks as well.
But when we see the back of 1 year from
Correct.
now, so like the technology has very much changed. Like in creative space, I can know that like you guys are leveraging more than others.
Correct. And we should be aware of all this technology, so that, like, it's easier for us to do the tasks and all.
Yeah. So the next question for Ashwini. Ashwini, can you provide me some examples of projects where Ask-based Studio has addressed specific needs, user needs, or challenges through innovative and personalized design solutions?
Yeah, sure. So, like I said, my approach towards designing is more of creating an experience rather than just, the the build space in general. So, my first such project is a gallery design in Hyderabad outskirts, which is in Khanapur, and that uh, client specifically wanted me to design only because he wanted only the experience design. He didn't want anything looking aesthetic or fancy or nothing of that sort. His main aim was to exhibit few products. So he works with a craft firm called Bidri Craft Firm, and he's commissioned multiple international product designers to come up with their own intervention. And each product is sold for some 2 crores, something of that sort. And he wanted a gallery space, which aims in focusing and highlighting those particular products only. So the idea is when a person is walking through. So when a person is walking through, the user is going to soak in the whole of the knowledge about that product and shouldn't get deviated at all while viewing the product. So the kind of site which was given to me was a huge shed. It was like a factory shed, and
Okay.
usually, what happens in a factory shed is that those people, obviously, when they didn't consult me, they had placed each product in some one of the corners, and they asked if this was fine. But then, what happens with such kind of a design is that as soon as you enter, you literally can see all of it at once. The idea is that a person should walk through like a little maze. It should be like a little walk through for the person to understand each and every corner of that little space and grasp in and soak in that knowledge and wait for that particular spot in one particular space, and then understand, learn about that product, and then move forward to the next product. So I was successful in creating that kind of a maze kind of a structure in that huge shed, which was very challenging. But thankfully, my clients are happy with with that particular thing, and they'll be soon launching it very soon with that thing.
All the best for you, that project actually.
Thank you very much.
Yes. So we have Ankit Jain also now. Like Ankit Jain, good afternoon. Yeah, like you came a bit late.
Oh, he disappeared again.
Jain. Yeah, Ankit, can you hear us? Yes. So like how does ANG Interior Hub foster creativity and innovation within its design team to deliver unique and bespoke interior solutions for your clients? Can't hear you. No. No. Volume. I think there is some technical issue with Ankit. We'll come back to Ankit again. So, Vimal, again, you then. In your opinion, what role does interior design play in enhancing well-being and productive in interior, like residential and commercial projects?
See, basically the entire difference or like the difference, the client can figure it out when an interior designer don't work on a project. Like in case we are not giving them any plan, and if he designed by his own and the same project, after a few months, if he asks us to design it, then the client or whoever it may be, they'll definitely find the difference. Be it maybe a commercial space or a residential space. Basically, once the design is done properly, then he'll not find any difference in it. I mean, he'll not notice any problem, or the day function keeps going with everything in place, because as a designers we figure it out, like what things to be done. I mean, early morning what the client does, in the afternoon what sort of things client does, and the evening what sort of things client does, and we make sure that everything is, his entire life circle goes in a proper way. So our duty is to make sure that improve the quality of life of a particular customer. So we focus on each and every minute detailing of. So majorly the interior designer's duty is to improve the quality of life of our customer. That thing I can definitely say about it.
Okay. Yeah. So like next will be Rachana again. Rachana, what trends do you anticipate shaping the future of interior design, and how does Assemble stay ahead of curve in adopting and innovating new design methodologies and technologies?
As our company name suggests, Ensemble, it's all a group of people who have joined together to make, with passionate people we are, who have formed this group. So individually, we also see that, we are upgraded ourselves all the time, and we know the material in and out of it, because now post COVID I can see, in interior, especially interior segments, there are a lot of materials, new materials, make in India concepts and all these things which have come. There are a lot of new materials which has been initiated, and when we know more and more new materials, we get more and more ideas, and we see that even our team is also educated about it. We have a team meeting where they explain about the meeting. So when we take up a concept, it's, as I suggested, an ensemble, it's a group effort. So when I design something, or design a concept, our team should be able to make the technical part of it, and the whole process comes out as a whole. So that is more important. So we try to keep updated with the materials, the technology. Of course, AI is booming now. So it has its own disadvantages also, because still we feel what we think of, it starts giving its own ideas sometimes. So but yeah, all these things, it gives a very realistic and 3D concept. So we freeze everything in the initial stage itself, which adds on to value of ensemble. Thank you.
So next we'll go to Manasa again. So Manasa, can you explain me what are the challenges do you face for the interior designers in adopting changing the lifestyle, and how Brick Red Design Studio navigate these challenges to remain relevant and innovative too?
As designers, we face a lot of challenges. I mean, any business, like, we face a lot of challenges. So see, one thing is managing time, managing cost, and we should make sure that, like, we stand with this client's expectations. So we should be aware of what is the trend, so what are the styles which is in trend now, and we should be aware of the technology. So we should make sure that the deadlines are like we have to
That's
solve
the
that.
main part actually.
Is one of the main important thing. So managing so many things, as in, like if you're not at workplace, it's important that we make sure that the work is happening at the place. And by using a lot of program managing tools, we have to be aware of these tools, so that we know how the tasks are happening and how to assign the works. And one more challenging thing is that, so getting proper vendors and suppliers, that is one of the thing which we face. And I mean, we should be open to the this thing criticism. Like, we all know that clients are the big critics. And it's important how we take the feedback from them and how we incorporate those feedbacks for our next projects. That also is one of the important thing. And see, at Bryck Design Studio, so we try to find out, as in we define the problem, we try to find out the solutions, as in we come up with a lot of solutions. In that, we will evaluate and will come up with one single solution which is best. And we try to do testing of that solution. And so we make sure that we collaborate with our team members, so that the tasks will be, the challenges will be easily solved. And so one more important thing is that effective communication. So there should be a proper communication between a client and a designer. See, if there's
Yes.
something, so which has to there's a deadline, and if it can happen, you be transparent in telling that this can happen in a certain time. So if there's no proper communication, so then again it's a problem. And we should make sure that what are the different materials which is coming in the industry, so that we can know where to use what. So this is one thing. And I would say that, with proper skills and approach, right? Any challenges in any industry, might not be a design industry, but any industry, it can be solved easily. So,
Yes.
like I said, at Bryck, we do lot of things so that we can solve all these challenges.
Yes. So I'll go with Ashwini next. Like, Ashwini, how do you incorporate elements of cultural heritage and local context into your designs, particularly to a diversify and the multicultural country like India?
Okay, this is my favorite part. So, I've always been like a fan of going deep down into the cultural research and bringing those elements up again, because I think India is rich of culture and traditions, and those really, really, really need to be revived. I personally feel, and I think. Designers like us will are probably having a great responsibility in reviving those kind of cultures back in today's time, because if not us, then I don't think that
Yes.
it's going to come back again anyway again. So that way I have designed a project in Mumbai. There's one residence where I designed, and the clients both are very traditional people. And so they were living in Shanghai for a few years, and then they moved back to Mumbai. They come from Andhra itself, and so I wanted to design their residence in such a way where there is a beautiful amalgamation between their Chinese culture and also the Indian traditional cultures in it. So it's a beautiful mix of the both together. And if you're curious on how it looks like, I can show you quickly
Actually, I was about to ask that after session, can you share that
the images.
project?
Okay, this I don't know if it's here. This, sorry, this is just an image of the beautiful carvings, wooden carvings which we've done. Along with, if you can see, there's a painting in the center. That's a Tanjavur painting from Tanjavur, directly from there. And
Okay.
you see the sofas over there, the wooden sofas over here.
Yes.
They're straight away from China.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have got some nice Chinese carvings on top of it, Chinese rosewood furniture. We got them brought directly from China so that it sort of matches their, their color palette and their style and their rituals and everything. So I personally enjoy, and I would even promote this idea if required to go forward to more and more our traditional rituals and do more of a research in our historical thing. And the best way of bringing out it would be, as designers, we can always bring it out as a contemporary way, and it still retains its traditional values. I think there could be nothing better than that in today's time. I would personally feel that.
Yeah. Yeah, so like we're done for the session now. Thank you for so much. Like I hope you had a insightful session and enjoyed. Thank you, Vimal, Rachana, Ashwini.